everyone. Welcome to The Path TV. We are Phillip and Laura Baker, and as always, thanks for spending some time with us. Hey, we're here to get a little bit further along that path today. You said, Brother Phillip, what path? Well, a great marriage. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's a path, and every time we get together, wherever you are around the world watching this in countries and nations and continents, whether it's on one of the networks that streams all over the world or you're watching this on our YouTube channel, we're just wanting to get a little bit further along the path. And we're not just talking about you guys, but we're also talking about us. We're not sitting here trying to pretend like we've got some perfect marriage, because there's no marriage that's perfect. But I tell you what, we've been married since 1987. And I would be confident to say we've stayed on the path, and every year that goes by, our marriage gets better. And I believe that's possible for everyone, absolutely, for you. But it doesn't happen by accident. It's got to happen on purpose, for a purpose. So for that reason, thank you for joining us. I mean, the mere fact that you're sitting there and you're watching this, man, it says something about you, your heart, and how much you want to have a marriage that honors God, that's growing, that's a prototype for the next generation. It just shows it just shows your heart, and we really appreciate your time today. And so if this is the first time that you're watching The Path, or you've seen a few episodes and you're like, man, I'd like to watch more of these, it's okay. Just go over to our YouTube channel, and all of the episodes, going all the way back to episode 1, debut episode, man, they're right there. Just search PBM Phillip space Baker, and all of them are there. Subscribe, and every time we release a new video, whether it's on marriage or something else, you'll get a notification. Hit that bell, give them a like, and it really helps us and lets us know what's going on out there. Amen?
Amen.
And so, hey, we're talking about something fun. And so, this is, we started a series, the last episode, and we wanted to talk about intimacy. We wanted to talk about sex.
You can't have a marriage seminar, a marriage show. You can't have without talking about sex.
You can't do it.
You can't.
You can't do it. You'd just
can't
be crazy. You'd just be crazy if you didn't. So we're talking about intimacy. We're talking about sex. I introduced you guys to, how we like to talk about it in the churches, which is, we talk about checkers. And you go, checkers? Checkers. You jump her, she jumps you. Come on now. Oh, now you're getting it. Get to the end of the board. King me. Come on, you're getting it. It's, one-on-one game. And so sex, intimacy, checkers, that's what we're talking about. And we want to get into a few more things today.
Well, we've talked in pretty much in every area, because if you've been married more than 5 minutes, or you've even been dating more than 5 minutes, you realize that men and women are so different in every way.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we communicate, the way we think, the needs that we have, just very, very, very different. And I feel like God did that for us. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna marry someone that is just like you. Usually opposites attract. And men and women we're pretty opposite. Mm. The book, men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Right.
2 different planets. That's what that's saying. We're so different from each other in every area. Well, that goes into sex as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we were talking about, because a lot of times what happens with people is you don't understand somebody being different, and to you different's not okay. Why aren't you just like me? Mm-hmm. This is how I want things done. This is how I like it. This is what turns me on. This is what all of that. And so you're trying to figure out why your spouse isn't just like you. Well, God didn't create him to be just like you. God didn't. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like God, like when he made a woman, he made her like a cookie jar that's half full. Let me tell you something. A cookie jar that's half full is great, because you can always get a cookie, right? Mm-hmm. And he made men like a cookie jar that's half full. Listen, I'm all about cooking now. You want a cookie now, right? But cookies, I mean, you can go and you get a half full cookie jar. That's awesome. But then when you put them together, I mean, it's overflowing and it's full. And that is what, you know, marriage looks like. You know, when you've got a man and a woman, you bring out the best of each other. It makes it's full. That's why the opposites. That's why God did that for us, so that we would have to work at that to complement each other and to come together. And so we're going to talk about that today. And you know, I want to make sure that you understand that God created sex, and it is a good thing. And it's not something to be ashamed of.
It was His idea, not ours.
Right,
we didn't go to God and go, you know, God, I've been looking at her. I have an idea. You know, it's no. It was His idea, because He knew what we wanted and what we needed more than we knew what we wanted or what we needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, if you can get to a place in your marriage, because it is an important part. And see, in this whole, you know, we're at, what, 76 now. We've talked about finances, huge part of marriage. We've talked about communication, big part of marriage. We've talked about everything that we think is a significant part of your marriage. This is a significant part. Does it take up most of the time in 24 hours of the day? No, it doesn't. But it being right is very important. It's as important as anything else. And so, you know, what you don't want is to live a marriage, to live a life and be married for 50 years and not have any area of your marriage fulfilled, any area of your marriage kicking on all 8 cylinders. And you can't be afraid to talk about this subject. And you know, I think for younger generations, it's pretty easy. You get older generations, and this is kind of we didn't talk about it, it's a taboo thing. You need to be able to talk about it. You need to be able to have the hard conversations, and you need to be able to communicate. It's the intimacy. It's not just the act, it's the intimacy.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So the dynamic for this episode is intimacy. It's got to be healthy, and it's got to be passionate to have a great marriage.
Yes.
And so that's the direction we're going. And I just, you know, we've been using Hebrews 13:4, and I just think it's a great scripture, because it mentions the bed. Marriage is honorable in all. Marriage is honorable in all. But then, come on, the Apostle Paul, he just came out and said it, in the bed undefiled. What's he talking about, the bed? Well, he ain't talking about sleep. You know, sleep. Sleep is defiled. Sleep is undefiled. What are you talking about? He ain't talking about sleep. He's talking about what a husband and a wife do in the bed. And once again, God made checkers. It was His idea.
That's right.
He knew what we wanted. He knew what we needed. And not just for procreation. He knew that a husband and wife wanted something that was going to be intimate. They were going to be one flesh, and it was going to be healthy, and it was going to move their relationship forward. And so that marriage bed is undefiled, and we want it to be healthy, and that's what we're talking about. So, you know, the thing that in our last episode, we made this comment. Women are crockpots, men are microwaves. And we didn't come up with that. No. I mean, that's been around I guess ever since there was a microwave, you know, which was what, early 80s or mid 80s or somewhere in there, I don't know. But women are crockpots, men are microwaves. And the symbolism is, you know, a crockpot is something you turn on, you put your food in there, and it slowly cooks the meal over a course of hours. And so the thought is, if you want to have this meal with your wife, you better turn that crock pot on, you know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours early, so it warms up, so we can get to that bed later.
Oh, but men are not crock pots.
Men ain't crock pots.
They are microwaves.
We're microwaves. We need no warm up.
Push 2 buttons.
Just walk up. I walk over. You know, now they have a shortcut on the microwave. Yeah. You know, we got this microwave in the kitchen, and you put your coffee in there, and you just go 30 seconds start. 30 seconds start. That's boom. I mean, it's just, you see that right here? Boom. I mean, and that's a man right there. Matter of fact, we like it more when we don't see it coming. And so we were talking about that in our last episode. We talked about 3 things. We talked about when it comes to men being microwaves, we talked about men like to be surprised. You know, that we don't want to see it coming. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
They want a woman to initiate sometimes, not all of the time.
Where they didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, you know, how about we go to bed tonight? And then it's like, you know, noon, and we're like, you know,
Their microwaves are ready right there.
Yeah, they don't.
Later. They hate that word.
Later. You know, I don't want to eat later. I do it later. We don't like later. And so we covered that. And then the second point with men is the difference between desire and duty. Desire and duty. Men want desire. They feel desire, and they know what desire looks like in their wife's eyes and in her wife's motions and then the way she men know. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And then women, they need that. They're crockpots. They need that emotional connection. And so let's continue on. We've got a couple of more thoughts concerning women are crockpots. I've got another thought concerning men are microwaves. And so you take the next thought concerning women are crockpots.
Well, let me give you a way, men, how to turn the crockpot on. Number one is affirmation. Listen, a woman needs to be told throughout the day, not just right before you're going to bed. Hey, baby, you look good. Okay, that is microwave mentality. Crockpot mentality is throughout the day. I appreciate you. I thank you for doing this. A woman wants to be appreciated before, during, and after. I mean, you know, ladies, we like it all, right?
Yeah.
Before,
the opposite would be no one likes to be taken for granted.
Right. And then just to notice that she's doing things. It's the affirmation that builds that intimacy. It builds that connection with her throughout the day. That when you're talking, first of all, it forces you to communicate with her. It forces you to say something to her. And, you know, I noticed that for me, I would say to Philip, because I do this all the time, I think I did it with my mom. I'd say, do you know I love you? Well, you know, if he just said yes, okay, that's not the response I'm looking for. But he would say, yeah, baby, I love you too. And I noticed that would fill up my love tank, you know. And men, you could say, well, I told her I loved her. I told her she was beautiful. Last week, last month, she knows I think she's pretty. She knows I think she's a desirable.
I married her, didn't I?
Yeah, I know. She knows I think she's attractive. She knows I appreciate everything she does. You know, men, you have to work at verbalizing that, the words of affirmation, just to tell her that throughout the day. That does start the crock pot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, before we get into the next two, I want to take a minute and I want to encourage you to go to our website, philipbaker.org, and take a look at these two books that will absolutely change your life. This is The Move from the Shallows into the Deep. It's the first book I wrote. It's real discipleship oriented. It's real supernatural. It's a journey into the supernatural. My favorite scripture is deep calleth unto deep. And that book will really light you up. Yeah. And then the book today is The Build. And it's leadership builds God's churches, ministries in your life. And wherever you are in the world today, I can tell you this with 100% certainty. At the end of your life, you're going to want to know you mattered. If you love the Lord, at the end of your life, you're going to want to know you mattered. You're going to want to be able to say, I fought a good fight, I finished my course, I kept the faith. But that's not going to happen by accident. And so I wrote this book to help you find what God's called you to do. So at the end of your life, no regrets, no woulda, shoulda, couldas. It's called The Build. Check this out, and we'll be back in about 60 seconds. Hey guys, welcome back to the Path TV. Again, we're Phillip and Laura Baker. And hey, go to our website, phillipbaker.org, and check out the books. Get them through our website. You can also get them on Amazon Prime. We've got media there. Check out our itinerary. Hey, maybe we're coming to a church near you. We're in over 50 churches a year throughout America, the world. And check out our itinerary and sign up for the Daily Move. It's a little email that goes out all over the world. It's absolutely free. It takes 10 seconds to sign up, and it'll take about 15 seconds to read every morning. It's not the quantity of words, it's the quality of words. And so, yeah, check out the website. Let's get back into this. We're talking about men are microwaves, women are crockpots. And what Miss Laura just talked about was, you know, women to turn on that crockpot, they need affirmation. They need affirmation. And words of encouragement, words of appreciation. And that gets the crockpot going. And so that's good. The second thought we want to share with you today, kind of going back to men are microwaves, but you know what? I think this one applies to both. I believe this lights a man up, and at the same time, this turns the crockpot on. And it's just this old-fashioned word. It's been around for thousands of years. It's been going on, and it's just flirting. You know, just good old-fashioned flirting. And you know, when we first met, going all the way back to 1986, you know, our first date, man, there was some flirting going on. You know, and those dates, going to see Jumpin' Jack Flash with Whoopi Goldberg, and the second movie we went and saw was Top Gun, and then, you know, and then we went to a basketball game, and you know, we were flirting. You guys were flirting. And you know, you flirt in different ways. You know, it's your eyes, it's the way girls mess with their hair, and it's the way guys, you know, do things and say things, and you making comments, and you know, it's that look in the eye, it's that flirting going on. But you know, now we've got these phones, yeah. And you know, there's a lot of people out there. You know, the young people today. You know, people that are dating, people that aren't married, maybe people that are just gotten married. You know, they're flirting through text. You know, because you can just kind of send a text. You know, you can send a checkers text. You can, you know.
Be careful. Be careful.
You know, you can flirt with this thing. I got to tell you this quick story. I'm not gonna say names or anything, even though this pastor has shared this. When I go preach at his church, he shares this story from the pulpit. But I'm not going to mention any names, you know. But I remember one night we were sitting there watching TV, and my phone was laying over here, and it went doo-doo. And somebody's texting me, and then it went doo-doo. And then I was like, well, what's, you know, and then it went doo-doo. And then, I mean, about 4 or 5 times, it was just lighting up, boom, 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 boom. So I walked over, and it was this pastor. And it said, I love, the second text, love, third text, you. He's doing one word of text. And then I'm like, well, that's sweet. You know, it's nice to be loved. Yeah. And then it says, I want to, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, he thinks he's texting his wife. And so I pick up the phone real quick, and I text him, and I go, Pastor, this is Phillip, stop. And it was quiet for about 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call. And
it's rolling.
He's rolling. He is rolling. He was, you know what, he was trying to turn the crock pot on. You know, he was flirting with his wife. And, you know, I don't know if it worked or not, none of my business. But, you know, he was flirting. And I think that's something that if you're dating, you've been married a year, you've been married 30 years. We need to flirt with one another. It turns the crock pot on, but it also, ignites that microwave. And so we need to do a better job with that.
Part of that's just having fun.
Having
fun with each other.
Yeah.
And you know how you do that, it's different for each couple.
Right.
I mean, it's absolutely different for each couple. And so just keep that fresh and keep that in mind, and it keeps you engaged into the relationship.
Right. All right. So we've got affirmation. Women, we'll get that crock pot turned on. Affirmation, words of appreciation, words of encouragement. words that just build her up and just make her feel special, make her feel beautiful. Though that's important, turns the crock pot on. We all, both sides, we need to flirt more. Once again, never take each other for granted. And there's so many different ways to flirt. And we need to be more creative. How about that word?
Absolutely.
Be more creative.
Don't get lazy. That's the easiest thing to do, is to get lazy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're a sure thing. I'm a sure thing. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
You know, and so to get comfortable and to get familiar and just go, oh, it's no big deal. You know, they don't really need that. They don't really care about that.
Right.
It does show that you are engaged in that relationship.
Absolutely. All right, what's number 3?
Well, number 3 is it's non-sexual affection. I'm talking about romance. And for a woman, romance is not her telling you to do something and you doing it. Romance to her is you doing something without being told. If flowers are really, I mean, she just loves flowers. You bring her home flowers every so often. Doesn't mean every day, every week, every month, but you surprise her with non-sexual affection.
Or non-sexual moments, non-sexual gifts, non-sexual blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so romance. So, you know, when Philip and I started dating, it's back in the 80s, the 86, well, he watched a lot of NBA basketball. Now, I had never watched NBA basketball, but you know, we had Larry Bird, we had
the golden age of basketball. Bird, Magic, Jordan. Here comes Jordan. Man, don't get me started. Go. I'm on my hush.
I know. I knew it would do it. Anyway, but so I got involved in that. He started telling me, and let me give you a clue. Start giving the women, they have to be connected to not the game, to the people. So he began to tell me details. Oh, you know, he's married and they've got 3 kids and all this stuff. And he did that to engage me into basketball, okay? So I began to watch with him because there's something about a woman that wants to do something with her husband. It's the recreation, it's the things we have in common. And I learned a lot of their names, and I learned their stories and the colleges they went to and the teams they played.
What they overcame.
Yeah.
They broke their ankle and now they're back.
Yeah, I learned all that stuff. But it was something that we could bond with. Well, for me, I love going into old antique stores and looking at old stuff and trying to figure out ways to remake it or repurpose it or stuff. That is not what he likes to do. But when he wants to speak romance to me, when he wants to do something that is just for me, and it's not probably fun for him, but we'll do that. He'll say, hey, let's go over. We have a place near us that we go to, and he'll say, let's go over and walk around. And I'm like, it totally takes me off guard, and it totally fills up my love tank. It totally turns the crock pot on, and I'm thinking, it's because he thought about me and what I want. And so there are things that I do for him that are non-sexual, that kind of connect us and bond us and help us to, you know, to spend time together. And there are things that he does for me. So, you know, men and women both need to work at it, but men, you know, the romance, do the things that she's not asking you to do, that have nothing to do with sex, that are just, you're doing it because you love her, you want to spend time with her, or you want to bless her, or you want to do something for her.
Right, absolutely. You know, I think I heard a story years ago. There was a couple and they had come to see a counselor. And they were having all different kind of issues, and there was a wall between them, and there wasn't a lot of communication, and because there's not a lot of communication, there wasn't a lot of intimacy, or maybe there wasn't a lot of intimacy because there wasn't a lot of communication. Once again, you know, which came first? It's a vicious circle. There was just a lot of problems, and so the counselor's sitting there talking to him, and he's you know, just kind of getting a feel of how he's feeling and how she's feeling, and you know, there was some things said and everything, but eventually it came down to this. He looked at him and he said, "This is what I want y'all to do." He said every day, he said, I want y'all to take like a 15 to 20 minute walk together. 15 to 20 minute walk together. And they go, well, what do you want us to talk about? He goes, I didn't tell y'all to talk. I didn't tell y'all to talk. Just go take a 15, 20-minute walk together. Between now, it was an assignment between then and the next time he saw him. He goes, I don't care if you talk or not. He said, I didn't say anything about that. Just go take together a 15 to 20-minute walk. And they looked at each other, and he said, just trust me. Just do that. And so they, okay. And so, every afternoon when, they got off work, they, got their little tennis shoes on, and they started, they went off to they started walking together. Well, a couple of weeks went by, and they came back in for the session, and, things weren't perfect, but things were better. Things were better. And one of the things they told him was, they said, it's kind of strange. He said, when we started walking together, he said, because we were together, talking was the byproduct of the walking together. Mm-hmm. See, if he would have told them, okay, I want y'all to spend 20 minutes a day talking, all right, that probably wouldn't have worked.
Right.
He said, go take 20 minutes to start walking. He told them to walk. Anybody can walk. The talking was the byproduct of the walking, and their marriage started to get better. And I think one of the things that when we talk about intimacy, you say, well, talking, you need to talk more. Okay, I get that, but we need to do things together, whether it's go take a drive, go to dinner, go on. You got to do things together, got to be together, and the byproduct of that will be the talking, the intimacy, the communication, all the things that your wife needs to turn that crock pot on that'll eventually lead to that microwave getting turned on. And so take some walks together. Take some rides together. Start doing some things together. And the byproduct will probably be some things you might really enjoy.
That's
Amen?
Good. That's good.
All right, we're not through. We're not through. Next episode, I'll give you a little teaser. We're gonna talk about the superpowers of men and women when it comes to intimacy. But we really appreciate you joining us. Remember, go over to our website, phillipbaker.org, get signed up for the Daily Move.
It will bless you. That is something we get comments on, emails back, and comments almost daily, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Almost daily. And it's amazing how God will use that just a few minutes
and
a few seconds. Yeah.
Free.
A few seconds in the morning, and it'll be exactly what you need for the day.
And then we'd love to hear from you. So wherever you are in the world today, you can email us, info@phillipbaker.org, and reach out to us. Let us know what's going on in your life. Where are you? Yes. Is there anything we can pray with you about? I mean, when that email hits, we're going to see it, and we're going to lift you up in prayer. And man, it'd just be an honor to join our faith with you for a miracle, for a breakthrough. And that would really be something. Hey, we love you guys, and we will see you next time on The Path TV.